Actually, it's
Recording in
completed.
progress.
That's it. Okay, ma'am, the slide is, I am sharing the slide. Is it seen?
No, ma'am.
No, no, ma'am.
See the, can you see the slide? Hello?
No, ma'am. The
No,
slide is
ma'am.
not.
No.
Now the slide is visible, ma'am.
Okay. Is it visible now?
Yes,
Okay, okay.
the slide is now visible.
Okay, okay. Thank you. So today we are going to discuss about the topic self-healing concrete for disaster, resilient and durable structures. So these are the contents of my topic. Then we are directly going to the self-healing. So before going to the session, first I would like to say about a brief introduction regarding why this self-healing concrete is necessary. So we know that concrete is prone to cracking due to some various type of loads and other external factors. So in order to remediate these kind of problems, we need a tremendous technology that we know that when the concrete is cracked, that time we need intense labor for the repairing and other problem rectification. So in that way, we will use some kind of chemical agents or other external factors that may be hazardous to environmental as well as the human health. So we are introducing a new technology that would be good for the human as well as the environment. So so environmentally friendly, a concept has been adopted known as self-healing concrete. So what is self-healing concrete means? A concrete which has the ability to repair cracks by itself is called self-healing concrete without any human intervention or any external agencies. So there are two type of the approaches means the self-healing mechanism can be classified into two types. One is autogenous mechanism and second is the autonomous mechanism. The autogenous mechanism is a natural mechanism that in that mechanism, the further hydration of unreacted cement. So the cracking, hello, hello, can you say anything? Hello?
No,
No,
ma'am.
ma'am.
You
You
can
can, you
continue.
can continue, ma'am. You can continue.
Okay, okay. Sorry. So, so what, where, okay. We are saying about the autogenous healing. So it is a natural healing. What there happened is the crack healing is carrying out by the further hydration of the unreacted cement particles. So but in the case of autonomous self-healing, what happening is the healing by two types, healing by chemical agents and healing by bacterial agents. There are two type of mechanism happening there. First is chemical agents healing and second is the bacterial agents healing. So in the case of chemical agents healing, two type of mechanism is there, encapsulation and vascular tube network. And the second is the healing by bacterial agents. There are four division. One is encapsulation. Second, direct addition of pure bacterial culture. And third is the vascular tube. And the fourth is the spraying or injection method. So already we discussed like in the case of autogenous self-healing, what happens is further hydration of unreacted cement particle, then only the calcium carbonate precipitation is happened. So, but in the case of second thing in autonomous healing, healing by chemical agents, how it happens? releasing healing agents to heal crack. So whenever the cracks occurs, that time the healing agents may means it comes out from the encapsulation tube and the healing is happening. And the third is the healing by bacterial agents is there should be some calcium nutrient or some calcium related things. Then the calcium carbonate precipitation has been occurring due to the activity of bioagent with that nutrients. So the bioagents, how the in my research topic, I have added two type of bioagents. So I will discuss in later slide. So bioagents. So in the bioagents from Bacillus species, we are employed for the self-healing mechanism. So what happening is when bacteria get the bacteria, how bacteria activating in the self-healing mechanism is when crack occurs, that time water enters the crack and it starts to convert the nutrients into calcium carbonate, which fills and seals the crack. So most probably, this bacteria has the capacity to ensure an alkaliphilic nature and has the capacity to produce spores. So in the species like Bacillus cohini, Bacillus pasteurii, Bacillus halodurans, Bacillus subtilis are used for this purpose. So the next figure showing here is first in the first session, the water ingression is happening here. The water when ingress into the crack, then it starts, the bacteria starts to activate here and it starts to precipitate the minerals here. That is calcium carbonate. So before in the right side figure, healing of cylindrical samples before and after showing here. In this picture, it is showing that this is the structure before and this is the structure after 28 days of evaluation. This is my research figure. So I just put here for your reference. So there are a lot of literature reviews which are showing that bacteria is good for the mechanical properties and it is highly makes the durability and other means densification and reducing the permeability and many other mechanical and durability as well as microbe self-healing properties will be produced by this kind of bacteria. So I'm not going much in the literature part. So we are going to the next slide. So research gap. What was my research gap actually in my thesis? So in the, I already told you I have taken two type of bacteria. Why I should select was most of the existing MICP means microbially induced calcite precipitation studies rely on individual bacterial strains. So when we go through the literature, I have gone through around 250 plus literature reviews. Then I have noticed one thing that most of the researchers were focused on the single strain bacteria. But very nowadays after I around I feel some 2020 23 onwards, some people are starting their work on mixed cultures. So why the what is the problem of this single strain bacterial culture is we know that the concrete has the pH of 12 to 14. So in order to combat that kind of situation, that pH, the bacteria should withstand that harsh environmental condition and we need to check their survivability and metabolic reactions and precipitation of calcium carbonate inside that system. So sometimes this single bacterial strain fails to do such means objectives. So in that case, single strain may sometimes fail, and so in that time we are taking like a co-cultured bacteria. So in my research topic, I have taken two kind of bacteria. That was one from the ureolytic and another from the non-ureolytic. And another thing is pure cultures depend on a single biochemical pathway. I told ureolytic and non-ureolytic. This is a different kind of mechanism. One is ureolytic mechanism and another one is non-ureolytic. So in the pure culture, that a single pathway means it depends only on ureolytic pathway. So sometimes it may not be good for the ureolytic pathway because this bacteria has the ability to produce ureas. So sometimes when it is inside the concrete system, we need to provide additional urea inside the concrete. So if it is beyond a particular limit, there is a chance of health hazard, and also it is not good for the human health and also concrete structures health. So in that case, the single bacterial culture, if they follow ureolytic pathway, that may not be good for the concrete structures. Then the next is single strain lacks synergistic interactions, resulting weak biofilm development, poor nutrient utilization, and a reduced resistance to environmental stresses inside the cementitious matrix. What is this biofilm? This biofilm is a covering, like a cluster of bacterial cells. This is the biofilm. So sometimes it may not produce a better biofilm. If it is not providing a better biofilm, that means the bacteria is not able to withstand such a harsh environmental condition. And and another thing is poor nutrient utilization. Sometimes the nutrient depletion may happen. So whenever we add the nutrient at an optimum, then only the bacteria will able to withstand such a condition, and they can precipitate effectively the calcium carbonate. Then only the self-healing will happen. Otherwise, it may not happen properly. In my research, I have conducted two experiments, like one I placed with the nutrient and another I will not. So I noticed that the bacteria, the specimen I provided with the nutrient has effectively healed and the other one doesn't. But the compressive strength is there, but the healing was not proper. Okay. So the next is the although microbial consortia are proposed to overcome issues of survivability and metabolic stability. So systematic investigations in concrete, especially concerning long-term pH regulations, viability, and healing sustainability, are still scarce. So we know that there are three things which is essential for the effective self-healing of the bioconcrete. First one is the pH, second one is the temperature, and the third one is the calcium nutrient. So we need to adopt these three. Whenever these three things are together, then only an effective self-healing may happen. So sometimes the single bacterial cultures are unable to do the whole things. So that time what we will do is we will adopt consortium. Consortium means the combination of two bacterial culture is the consortium. We will use the consortium bacterial culture. So in my study, I have used two kind of bacteria system. One is from ureolytic and another from non-ureolytic. So comprehensive studies assessing how mixed bacterial strains influence self-healing efficiency, calcite deposition, metric densification, and improved mechanical durability properties remains unlimited. So my research novelty was already I told that I am using two kind of bacterial system. One is ureolytic and another one is non-ureolytic consortium. So in this situation, I am using two kind of cell concentration. One is higher and second is the lower bacterial concentration, and the 0.4 water cement ratio I am using. And I am introducing a new material. It's already there, but in self-healing, it is the first attempt, that volastonite, one calcium-rich material, natural mineral material I have introduced in the system. So this is the first systematic evaluation of introduce a coupling of bolastonite consortium synergy for enhancing the pore refinement, densification, mechanical strength, durability under extreme thermal and chemical exposures. So addresses these gaps, understanding early age and long-term strength behavior, durability, microviability at elevated temperature, and another thing is the healing beyond 2 mm. I feel there was no, in my knowledge, I feel there is no papers like healing is beyond 2 mm. I did not see it, but nowadays maybe it is coming. Okay, so this is the my main objective was to evaluate the influence of microorganism on fresh and hardened properties of concrete and to determine the role of wollastonite mineral in enhancing the performance of co-cultured bacterial concrete, to identify the optimum microorganism concentration, that is higher and lower concentration level, that maximize the self-healing efficiency and promotes effective calcite precipitation, to compare the mechanical and durability performance of self-healing concrete with the corresponding control mixers using advanced monitoring and microstructural characterization techniques, to analyze bacteria-induced crack healing, focusing on crack geometry, especially length and width, and quantifying precipitation behavior using various microstructural analysis. So the next slide is materials and experimental program. So these are the materials which I was used for my study. That is cement OPC 43 grade ultratech, fine aggregate which was natural river sand, coarse aggregate natural broken stone of 20 mm and 10 mm, mineral additive bolastonite that grade was chemolite H3K which was procured from Volcom Industries Udaipur. Bacterial strain, there are two types of bacterial strain, Bacillus sp NCL 2477 procured from National Chemical Laboratory Pune, and Bacillus cohini MTCC 10221 microbial type culture collection and gene bank, Chandigarh. Superplasticizer Oramix 400 was used and water which was taken from the MNIT laboratory. So the physical properties, we know that all participants know that the physical, chemical, and all properties of the ingredients used. But I can discuss something. That is the fineness 1%, specific gravity 3.15, consistency 33%. Initial setting time was 90 minutes and final setting time was 220 minutes. So these are the aggregates used. 20 mm and 10 mm aggregates were used. 60% 20 mm and 10 mm 40%. So this is the image of wollastonite actually. The wollastonite, its speciality is it is a needle, a circular form, means a needle-like formation. So whenever when we used this kind of material, that what the bridging effect will be higher, and it has lot of like applications in other than concrete, like in paint and flux it is used. And its specific gravity is 2.99, and the main thing is water absorption is comparatively more, 25.98%. So these are the bacteria used, which was freeze dried specimen and active slant deposit. So after that, when we got from the institute, we subcultured the bacterial strain using cross-streaking method. These are the images showing the cross-streaking method. So every 15 days, we used to do the cross-streaking to eliminate the contamination. So where the mix design was done, BIS 10262 2019. So the water binder ratio was 0.4. Optimum bolastonate used was 10% for 0.4 water binder ratio. How it was done is, so we have conducted some trials from 10 to 50, 10%, 20%, up to 50% we have conducted by weight of cement, and finally find out that the 10% is the optimum, which has given the maximum compressive strength. Then superplasticizer Oramix 400 was used, already we discussed. So 0.3% was the optimum, which was done using Marshall contest. And optimum consortium culture. Consortium culture was 10% by weight of water. This also was done by trials, many trials. Calcium nutrient employed. In the current study used calcium lactate pentahydrate, that was 1.5% by weight of cementitious material. It's also optimized through the trial only. And urea 1 m 18 gram per liter also done using trial. Then two kind of concentration already discussed. The consortium concentration 4 into 10 raised to 9 cells per ml for higher concentration, and 1.3 into 10 raised to 5 cells per ml for the lower concentration, and workability 0.85 to 0.9. Compaction factor was maintained 0.85 to 0.9 for the entire work. So this is the super plasticizer when we the relation between workability and SP dosage. When we add the this volastonite inside the material, I told earlier like it has the workability, means water absorption is high. So what happened was, like whenever we added the volastonite inside the concrete, the workability sometime it has reduced. So the SP dosage was varied. So why it happened was this volastonite has the surface area, larger surface area. So it require more water to means like wetting the material. So that time, whenever we add the material, the workability got reduced. So that time it was maintained by the help of adding the SP dosages at various SP dosages. So this is the raw materials requirement for 1 m³ bioconcrete. And this is the mix ratio, that was cement, fine aggregate, coarse aggregate 20 and 10. So these are the specification for the mixes. So next is the experimental methodology study on bacteria. So for the study of bacteria, we used initially first step is the preparation of the nutrient broth. Before preparing a bacterial culture, we need to prepare the nutrient broth initially. So what are the materials, ingredients inside the nutrient broth? It is enriched with peptone, sodium chloride, yeast extract, HM peptone, and other biological fluid with the required composition, and it has its own pH around 7.4 plus or minus 0.2. So before going to the preparation of the culture, now it is in nutrient media only. It has a pH of 7.4. So second step is to sterilize the subculture. So sterilize the this nutrient media. So it was done by performed at 121 degrees Celsius for 20 minutes at a 15 Pascal pressure for the preparation of the media. So after that, okay, I will say you later. So this is the test we conducted for checking the bacterial viability and all the things. This is the characteristics of the bacteria. First, pH, second temperature, gram staining, then ureolytic assay, biofilm, calcite production, and endospores. So first, pH was conducted from 6.5 to 14. 6.5 to 14 we conducted. So finally we found out that optimum, the left side showing the Bacillus cohini and the right side showing the Bacillus sp. So first individual pH was determined. In all the cases, initially individual first determined for both the bacteria, then it is mixed together, then it was checked. So this is the mixed result, means mixed cultures result. First, Bacillus cohini was shown 10, and Bacillus sp showcased 9.5. We have taken 10 because at 10 also the Bacillus sp 12, 12, 11, 12, in every pH the Bacillus sp was growing. But in the case of cohini also the same happened. but their optical density, the value of optical density was varied. So we fixed it as 10 for both Bacillus cochini and Bacillus sp. Second is the temperature. Temperature again started from minus 20 degrees Celsius to 140. Minus 20 degrees Celsius, 30 degrees Celsius, 37 degree. Because some literatures have shown like 37 degrees Celsius. So 37 degree, then again 60, 100, 120 and 140. So in every temperature, it shows like it was growing. But we have taken the optical density, higher optical density as 45 degrees Celsius. So the next one is the gram staining. The given bacteria, either positive or negative, gram positive or negative. So it is find out by the help of gram staining process. The next one is the ureolytic assay. So in the ureolytic assay, we have found out that you can see that this is the non-ureolytic. Why? Because the solution showing the yellow color only, that is the nutrient media color only. But when we add some ingredients inside, so there are a lot of ingredients, mixed ingredients, then after 7 days, it will change the color of the things. Then it is changed to yellow to pink color. So that means the urea is there, ureolytic positive, the ureolytic activity is there. But in the case of cochini, it is non-ureolytic. Then biofilm formation. Biofilm formation means, already I told you, some group of this bacterial cells, the both are showing the biofilm. Then calcite production at a 7 days, 24 hours, 7 days, and 28 days, we check the, and it also showing the calcite production. And endospores. Endospores means the spores of bacteria which can withstand harsh environmental condition while on the when it is in the concrete atmosphere, means concrete system, it can perform at a harsh environmental condition, withstand any kind of stresses. So it has the capacity to produce endospores also. So this is the so I have taken that calcite, and it was filtered through the one filter paper, and find out that it is calcite. And this is the scanning electron images of same image of the calcite. The study accomplished fully the all things that the bacteria can use for the self-healing concrete preparation. So this is the nutrient. I have used the calcium lactate pentahydrate. So concentration used in trial was 0.51, 1.52 and 2.5 by the weight of cementitious material added in microbial concrete prepared with a 10% optimum consortium culture without a urea addition. So we could find out that 1.5% is the optimum. So these are the preparation of the bacterial culture. We already told we streaking. Initially, we making the media, autoclaving. After cooling, the bacteria before we have to make the pH as 10. So then using the NaOH, and after that we place the bacteria inside, and after that we placed it in the orbital shaker for growing. Then after orbital shaking, the culture came out, and the OD is checking in the spectrophotometer. Then it is ready for the manufacturing of the production of the bioconcrete. So these are the preparation method. We used a cube, beam, and cylinder. There are many things I used, but I did not add much because corrosion, shrinkage, everything I have done. So I did not add much because the slide will be more. It is very difficult to take the classes. So this is the development of bioconsortium. This is the raw materials required for the things. We added the urea and the calcium lactate. So for the higher and lower consortium concentration, then we are mixing the thing and checking the workability, again going to the hardened state of bioconsortium wollastonite sample. So there are two type of, already I discussed, there are two type of things like ureolytic and non-ureolytic activity. That what happened is in the ureolytic MICP, urea's positive bacteria is there, which has the capacity to produce urea. This urease enzyme, the urease enzyme can catalyze the hydrolysis of urea into carbon dioxide and ammonia. The ammonia released is highly soluble and dissolves immediately in the water present inside the concrete pores and cracks. The ammonia react with water and directly produce hydroxyl ions, causing a rise in pH levels inside the system. Under high alkaline condition, the hydroxyl convert bicarbonate into carbonate. So the bacterial cell walls has a negatively charged and can attract the calcium ions from outside. So after calcium ions are attracted and bound to the negatively charged bacterial cell surface, the carbonate ions react with the surface bound calcium, causing calcium carbonate to nucleate and grow the bacterial cells, leading to crack filling and pore healing. So this is the main concept or main mechanism happening in ureolytic MICP. So there are three kind of polymorph of calcium carbonate is there, vetrite, calcite, and aragonite. In this, calcite is the stable form. Okay, first what happen is crack. First crack is occurring, water ingress, then the bacterial activation, urease production, urea hydrolysis, carbonate formation, calcium carbonate precipitation, then crack sealing, then pore densification. So in the case of this is the following method. First, water is ingressing in the crack, then urease production, pH means increment of the pH, and then next is the calcium release and the calcium ion attracting to the bacteria, then bound to the surface. Then it is crack, the densification of the calcium carbonate. Then the that calcite crystal, how it is formed is showing here. That is an rhombohedral shape. So the next is non-ureolytic. In that case, it does not rely on urea hydrolysis. The name itself non-ureolytic. What happens is the calcium carbonate formation through alternative metabolic pathways. Which is the metabolic pathway alternative? What happens is calcite precipitation through pH modulating and carbonate producing metabolism. Slower, it is a slower process, but more stable and stable crack sealing. Calcium nutrient, calcium lactate dissolved in pore solution. Calcium lactate dissolves in pore solution. In that case, ammonia. In here, calcium lactate directly dissolved in the pore solution. So what happened? Non-ureolytic bacteria respire the organic substrate and produce carbon dioxide. High concrete pH convert this carbon dioxide into carbonate ions, which then react with the calcium ion to form calcium carbonate. So the mechanism is different for both the things. One is ureolytic mechanism, fully ureolytic, the help of urea and that hydrolyzing the everything. And finally, it makes the calcium carbonate. Here, there is no urea hydrolysis, but the pathway is different. Directly, calcium lactate is dissolves in pore solution. There start the mechanism. Okay. So mechanical properties, there are four type of mechanical properties, that is compressive, flexural, split tensile, abrasion resistance. So here I have changed two part. That is for only for higher concentration, consortium concentration, and next is for the lower consortium concentration. So here the control is there, 0.4 control, 0.4 CW means control volastonite, BCH higher consortium control. Then the next side lower is there, and this is 0.4 H5, H10, H15. That is the variation of 5, 10, 15 is the variation of volastonite percentages. So it was noticed that up to 90 days, we can see in the figure, the variation in the figure. Up to the 90 days, the bacterial, up to the this yellow figure, right side yellow, this is the lower consortium. So it can be seen that up to 90 days for the lower consortium, the result was, the compressive strength was higher. But thereafter a slight decline happened. But it was not below the control one. But in the case of higher consortium, it was moving upward, only in a linear direction, linear growth, linear hike was noticed there. So what happened in this? What is the mechanism is going on there? Up to 90 days, lower consortium does not make, means after change happens, but in the higher there is nothing happen. What happened here actually? The exact thing is, in the case of lower consortium, means lower bacterial density, number of bacterial cells are less. But in the case of higher consortium, the density is higher. The name itself, density is higher. So the bacteria is unable to move at the early ages, unable to move inside the concrete system and make the activity. That is the for refinement or any kind of nutrition depletion or this ureolytic activity, whatever the activity inside the concrete happens, it is very difficult for this higher consortium concrete at the early ages, until up to 90 days. But after that, what happens is it will reduce. After sometimes the number of bacterial cells will reduce, but they can effectively move and do the things appropriately. But in the case of lower consortium concentration, the cells density reduce, and sometimes it may decay, going to die. So in that cases, what happens? The strength may lightly reduce. So the nutrient depletion may happen. Number of cells may reduce. So it happens there. This is the main thing behind the mechanism. So the thing, there may be many changes happen inside, but the lower consortium has given the maximum result till up to 90 days. Okay, this is the specimen. This is the point for L10. It is actually reverse that figure. This is the point for H10 and point for control shown here. So it was seen that compared to the control sample, the higher and lower consortium concentration sample tracking. Yeah. Can you please mute? So this is the same images of the structure, same images of the concrete. So it was seen that compared to the 28 days samples, the 90 days samples also providing the higher concentration is showing thick calcite precipitation. This is the image of enlarged view of the calcite. It is showing some rhombohedral shape, means individually we can see that there is a lot of figures with me, but I just added this figure only. So that individual rhombohedral shape we can see in that figures. So this is the EDS figure. EDS in that compared to 28 and 90 days, we can see that this calcium precipitation was there. So it was seen that compared to the control at 28 days, the specimen at 28 days given a strength increment of 42. In the case of lower consortium, it was 42.99, approximately 43, and higher consortium, it was 32.87%. So lower consortium has given maximum result at 28 days. Only I added the 28 days result. This is the same trend happens in the case of flexural also. So in the flexural, this is the figure, and lower consortium has given maximum result of 25% and higher consortium 18.23%. So this is the split tensile strength. The same scenario happened there also. This is the figure showing. So the lower consortium has given 31.25% and the higher consortium has given 25.26%. This is the depth of wear. So I have done two type of things, like 28 days and 90 days strength I compared. Then I noticed that after 90 days, the depth of wear was reduced, and that was prominently seen in the lower consortium samples. This is the sample showing. This is the aberration testing machine, and this is the samples. How we can find out is initially we are taking the weight of the specimen. Then the upgraded specimen, the weight change will declare the how much is the depth of wear. There is an equation, so we will understand the depth of wear. So what we will get is control samples compared to 90 days, 28 days, 90 days sample has given when we compare with the control, 0.42% reduction was seen. But higher consortium, 0.96% was seen. Lower consortium, 1.33% reduction was seen. This is the UPV ultrasonic pulse velocity we have checked. So
I wanted to say something. Please गलत तरह से मत लेना.
ultrasonic pulse velocity was noticed. So in the case of this ultrasonic pulse velocity, we can see that in every, as per BIS 516, we can see that like the ultrasonic pulse velocity was high in this control as well as the compared to the control, the consortium concrete has given maximum like above 4.8, 4 point above 4. If the concrete is showing the UPB above 4.5, it is showing excellent result. So this is the mechanism. So the durability studies, we are going to durability studies, water absorption, capillary ingression, resistance to acid attack, chloride penetration, behavior at a sulfate environment, and behavior at a high temperature. So here I am showing the 28 days and 90 days this water absorption. It was noticed that compared to the 28 days, 90 days has reduced in every aspect, and it was mostly reduced in higher consortium samples, because already we told like in the case of higher consortium sample, the durability will be high because the cell density is already higher, and whenever it goes on increasing, the bacteria has the ability to endure such situation than the lower one. Okay, so how was the result compared to the 28 days? The 90 days sample exhibit the reduction in water absorption in the range of control 5.19%, higher consortium sample 15.03%, lower consortium sample 8.71%. So this is the softivity. Then softivity, we can see that the initial and final softivity we have determined. So in that case, I can see that till up to the 6 days, the initial softivity was up to 6 hours, and after that, up to 6 days, the second softivity was taken. So in the case of the higher and lower consortium sample was seen very tremendous changes. The higher consortium has low secondary softivity than the lower one. So in that case, this is the experimental way. So this is the sample for the softivity testing. For side, for a tube, 4 side we will block with like a plugged with some wax or anything, and the 2 sides we will leave. So it is placed in the water. This is the that figure which will give the maximum hint for how we can do that the softivity. So the variation in secondary softivity, secondary water absorption was evaluated to assess the long-term surface water absorption characteristics of the concrete specimen. It was observed that by the end of 6th day, secondary softivity had significantly decreased across all samples, with a more pronounced reduction noticed in the bio-treated specimen, demonstrating their enhanced resistance to prolonged water ingress. So in the initial softivity, during that time, the control samples have shown a maximum capillary rise of 2 mm, but the bacterial concrete has shown only 1.3 mm. That was shown 0.4 H10. So, and also the 0.4 H5 sample exhibited lowest drop of 52.6% in the secondary softivity. So resistant to acid exposure, that was done. Compressive strength and weight change we have done. So the 3% of acid, diluted acid, in the 3% of diluted acid, we have placed the oven dried sample. We placed in the acid water, and we have conducted test at 28 days, 56 and 90 days. And we have seen that after 90 days, the weight and the compression in every days, means like every duration 28, 56 and 90, we check the strength and the weight. But we have seen that during the acid test, what happened is, during the sulfuric acid react with the calcium hydroxide in the cement to form gypsum. The gypsum has gypsum, it is a type of gypsum is not good. Actually, the gypsum is softening the interior part, means that concrete structure, and make pores, and it also makes the concrete to expand. Means volume change. It will create a volume change. When the gypsum again react with the calcium aluminate, means aluminate means hydration products are there, calcium aluminate is there. When the gypsum is react with aluminate, calcium aluminate inside, then it forms the needle shaped morphology ettringate. So the further expansion of this thing, because the ettringate will make the further expansion of the product, and makes the cracking, major and minor cracks in the surface. And also the H2SO4 makes the decalcification of the CSH. The CSH which leach out the calcium ion from the concrete and make more porous. So in the case of so what is the outcome is the strength loss and weight change. It means weight loss. So what is the means advantages of this MICP is, this will this will hinder the entry of gypsum inside, and the decalcification of the CSH gel. Then it will, in my case, I was noticed that the Volastonite consortium synergy has noticed a very limited weight change and strength variation. So we can say that MICP is an effective thing in chemical aspect. So this is the images from, this is the control, and this is the higher consortium concentration, and this is the lower consortium concentration after 90 days. We can see that for control, it is more vulnerable, like it is more means susceptible to this acid attack, but the others are not much. So this is the compared to 28-day water sample, water cured sample, acid treated samples, 90 days showed like a higher consortium showed 35.01 strength reduction, and weight reduction was 3.12% only compared to others. So this is the depth of penetration of like chloride, means chloride penetration, depth of chloride penetration. So it will have, what was seen is that we have conducted an experiment of chloride penetration. We placed the samples inside the NaCl solution, 4% NaCl solution, for a period of 28 to 365 days. And in every duration we have checked, we have taken the samples out and make it two halves, and sprayed over the surface, silver nitrate sprayed over the surface, and the samples with the chloride ingression is there, they will shows the white precipitation. So it is the images showing the white precipitation. We can see that this is the 28 days, and then this is 360 days. Then we can see that the 360 days samples show not much, like this is the white precipitation is the depth of penetration. So we are taking the average of the depth of penetration. So it was noticed that the control sample shows maximum 27 mm at the 360 days. It is editing mistake. So, and this one higher consortium shows 20 mm maximum, and the lower consortium 22.9 mm. Then the resistance of sulfate attack the same. Here we have used the magnesium sulfate of 3% magnesium sulfate, and we place the sample inside the magnesium sulfate was mixed in the water, and we placed the sample inside with the different durations. And we used the wetting and dry, 14 days wetting and 40 days drying application we did here. We used the 4% magnesium sulfate. When the magnesium sulfate react with the calcium hydroxide, then magnesium hydroxide, that is brucite, is formed plus calcium sulfate. So this calcium sulfate later converted to form gypsum. Already we told gypsum is not good for the
मैं तेरे को 3 ड्राइंगे बोलूंगा, वो 3 ड्राइंगा तो
the sulfate ions in the concrete plus aluminate phase from the etringate. The magnesium ion attacks the CSH gels and form. There it was CSH, and here it was magnesium silicate hydrate. That is, has no binding capacity, and it will make the severe strength loss and weight loss. So here what happened is, at some times the weight was increased till up to 180 days, the weight was increased and suddenly decreased. So what happened is, during the initial time, the gypsum and other hydration products may occur in the concrete system. So they just starts to expand. So that time the process of the hydration products inside the matrix make the concrete more like they will get more weight. So this, and after a time it is start to degradation started, decomposition may start for the hydration products, so it may reduce the strength. So this is the weight. This is the compressive strength. The same happening here during the early time. The immature concrete, the concrete has not much maturity. So what happened is, during the initial stages, the concrete starts all the things inside, and the pores will be there. Every aspect is there. So after 56 and 90 days, during that time, this hydration products may react and react from up to a certain extent the strength will be there, and then the degradation may happen and the dissolution may happen. So the change in compressive strength may happen. So this is the compared to ambient QS temperature, the point H10 was 0.24% reduction in strength weight was noticed. But in the case of higher consortium sample, strength reduction for water binder ratio 0.4, the strength reduction was 24.24% for control sample. So higher consortium sample containing 10% exhibited lower strength reduction of 10.77%, and lower was 13.79. So here the weight change was higher, showing 0.24% reduction, and lower shown 0.2%. So these are the images of the control as well as the this sulfate higher and lower consortium. Till up to 550 days, I have extended my work, and I have noticed that the higher and lower consortium sample does not make any kind of changes visibly, and that was not degraded. Maybe happened inside, but it was not shown visibly anything like cracks or any demolition or spalling. There was nothing. So this is the heat. I feel the time is 7:06 now. I do not know how much time I can take because some materials are there. Okay, I can take whatever the thing. So this is the visual evaluation of the temperature. I have conducted temperature from 200 to 1000 degrees Celsius, 200, 400, 600, 800 and 1000 degrees Celsius. I have noticed after 400 degrees Celsius, there's some color changes like a reddish brown, reddish color was noticed. So whenever the color changes happens, this is due to the material inside the concrete system, some kind of like a quartz or flint or any kind of aggregates which contain oxide. It will make some kind of color changes inside the concrete system. So it was seen that at 400 degrees Celsius, the reddish color what was noticed, and after that, the concrete showing brownish color at 600 to 800 degrees Celsius. Sorry, not brown, gray color, shown gray color, and at 1000 degrees Celsius, it was a buffer hue. That it and clearly noticed that there was a lower, when we see visually, we can see that at 1000 degrees Celsius, the control samples has shown a minor cracks. But others like in the higher or lower concentration, somewhat showing some kind of minor cracks, but in higher concentration, there was no cracks visibly. So we can say that it is due to the ability of the higher consortium along with the molastonite mineral, because the molastonite mineral has higher thermal stability. So this is the weight change. In the weight change also, we can see that after the temperature, we can see that the weight change was lower in the case of higher consortium concentration compared to the lower. So this is the variation in strength. Initially, the strength was increased. How it happens is, when we do the temperature, that time the unreacted particles are inside the concrete. This what happens. And also the bounded water is there. So it will start for making the rehydration products again for some extent, and makes the cement, means that concrete specimen more dense, and it will increase the strength at some extent only. Thereafter it shrink, and then the change in strength will be happen, and it will reduce. And here also we can say that this higher consortium concentration has shown lower strength reduction compared to the lower one. Now here also another thing, water absorption. I told already, because the bound water inside the pore solution is inside the concrete is there. So whenever we heat the sample, the pore solution may get evaporated for some extent, and sometimes the concrete sample gets shrink. So it may tight, and it may get dense. That time the ingression of water get reduced, and after that it will expand, so the cracks may emerge, and at 1000 degrees Celsius it will happen the increase in water absorption. So this is the same criteria at a residual UPV. When we see the UPV, we can connect with the UPV and water absorption. So if the water absorption is less, means that there is a less number of less pores and flows inside the concrete, and it get tighten the hold the matrix, and the matrix is dense. After that, it starts showing some UPV has some flows, like it has reduced. Okay. Then the increment in compressive strength. This is the thing. When I have added some samples after this temperature, so some cracks will make over the surface. I place the some selected samples in the water, and I for the checking the self healing, and I noticed that the after the temperature, I place the sample in the water, and the whole sample has healed effectively, and the healing percentage, strength percentage was varied. So around 28% increment in compressive strength was noticed after the temperature. So this is actually a means interesting thing and curious. Most of the participants will thinking that how it is happening. I will come in the later slide. So I will explain there. So this is the increment of UPV there also. So UPV also automatically compressive strength. If the compressive strength increased, automatically UPV may also increase. So it was seen that UPV was also increased. So this is the microscopic observation of bioconsortium after temperature. So as a curious researcher, I have taken my samples for in the laboratory for taking whether the bacteria is viable after this much temperature. So I have noticed that interesting fact that up to 800 degrees Celsius, the bacteria was visible, clearly visible. This is the control. Initially, I have taken the images of the bacteria, and finally I noticed that in every temperature till up to 800 degrees Celsius, the bacteria was visible. Why? Because the bacteria has the ability to create or make the spores inside the concrete system. Whenever after the activity, the bacteria will be dormant inside the concrete system. Whenever it get a favorable condition, like a moisture ingression or something, it will reactivate and produce spores and can withstand at a high temperature or harsh environmental condition. So we can say that this bacteria is thermophilic, thermal resistant bacteria. So these are the some results I already explained you. So the self-healing studies, this is I mainly focused on the length and width and regaining compressive strength and regaining UPV. So this is the, I have taken a cylindrical, two type of cylindrical samples I have taken. One was for the higher consortium and one was for the lower consortium. I have done the crack in the 100% crack I have done in the compression testing machine, and the cracks are irregular. So we use the ImageJ software for analyzing the cracks. In that, I have taken the average crack width of 2.07 mm. I have taken. So after, we can see that after this is the pre-cracked specimen, healing at 21 days, healing at 42 days, 56 days, we can see that the specimen is fully, completely healed. And we can see this image, healed with the pores reduction. The calcium means the calcite was come outside the samples, and the pores was healed completely without any kind of, you can see that the pre-cracked specimen pores and this surface pores, there was no spores visibly over the specimen after 56 days over in the case of higher consortium sample. So in the this is some healing result. So this is the lower consortium sample. So I have noticed this is the, again I did the image software, but you can see the change. What is the after 87 days, the bacteria healed this much. Means using the same image software. So around, I have noticed 1.3 mm for the lower consortium, an average of 1.3 mm. This width was 1.3 mm. Around 68.57% only was healed up to 87 days. So these are the, I have placed the same, I have in the case of temperature, I placed some samples after compression testing. So I placed in the water and it was healed and regained that compressive strength over the maximum, beyond the maximum compressive strength. So it was successful actually. And this is the UPB before healing and after healing the same samples. I was noticed that it was healed completely. So this is the regaining. We can see that around 112% increment was noticed. So 100% already there and over beyond that limit. So what was the final conclusion is 2.07 mm. I already told 2.07 mm was the crack. And what was the diameter? 15 mm. 15 centimeter was the diameter. So 15 centimeter diameter, 15 centimeter, 2.07 mm average crack with the higher consortium sample within 56 days has healed 100%. But on the other side, lower consortium sample only healed 68.57% with the 1.3 mm average crack width. So what we are getting from this information is, for an effective self-healing, we need a particular or specific cell concentration. That means higher concentration sample will effectively work for the durability part. For the durability studies as well as for the self-healing, it will heal completely. So this is the message we are getting from the final part of the self-healing study. So this is the overall conclusion. We already mentioned everything. We already mentioned we need the concrete is alkaline and the bio-based approach demands several precautions to thrive under such conditions. Factors such as temperature, pH levels, nutrient availability, and cell concentrations are crucial in supporting the overall development of bio-inspired concrete. The next limitations we have seen in here is that it is important to note that ureolytic bacteria can generate urea. But an excessive urea, already I mentioned, an excessive urea poses risk to both humans and structural integrity of the concrete. Determining the precise quantity of urea suitable for the mandatory concrete is suitable for the concrete is mandatory. Then there is no correct protocol for making the this culturing and all the things, bioconcrete and everything. So a deficiency in the established protocol for producing bioconcrete remains remains to be determined. Okay, so this is the final conclusion of the thing. The already I have discussed the thing. So this is the future aspect. They did not, I haven't seen any papers for volume and calcite precipitation. So this is these are my journal publications related to my research. I have published around 8 papers, out of which 6 are SAQ1 only, greater than 5 impact factor. So this is some patents. They are already already completed. So these are the additional work I have done with this my research. So thank you. This is my contact details. If anyone wants to do the research on self-healing concrete, they can feel free to contact me through WhatsApp or call, or either like mail also contact. So thank you everyone. Hello. Hello.
Good evening, madam.
Good evening, sir.
Madam, I am one of the participant.
Yes, sir.
If you don't mind, I have series of questions because I am also working on this. I am
Okay.
pursuing PhD.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, can I ask questions?
Yes, sir.
The host is muting me.
No, sir, I can hear you.
Yeah, no. The host is muting me. Maybe
Okay.
it's not the right time to ask.
No,
I'll
sir, you
wait
can
until.
ask the question, sir.
Sorry. Thank you. Ma'am, excellent presentation, ma'am. I'm overwhelmed by this presentation. I'm very much happy today, actually.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Actually,
Uh,
I had a lot of contents, but I did not get enough time. That's why I was gone
yeah,
very
madam.
fastly.
I can understand your 96 slides will not be enough for 1 hour time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Actually, I had a
Madam,
lot of slides from my side, but also, but I couldn't complete that thing properly. Actually, I feel
okay.
in my side, I am not satisfactorily completed. Actually.
Okay, ma'am. Ma'am, a few questions, series of questions, please don't mind. So what is the use of admixture in bacterial concrete?
Sir, means you mean admixture means that a calcium nutrient, or
No. You added some wollastonite.
yeah, in my case I have added some, as a, because in the nowadays we are more focusing on the sustainability part actually. So
Okay.
I have added a supplementary, as a supplementary cementitious material to reducing the cement content. I have added the wollastonate actually.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
And how about super plasticizer if we add? There is a very less scope for crack healing, I guess, because it has more workability. Super plasticizer.
So actually, when in some literatures, it is showing that when we add the bacterial culture, the workability is increasing. But sometimes
Okay.
it is not right actually. The workability we can maintain some extent with the help of superplasticizer only. Sometimes it
Okay.
may increase because we are adding. What is the main reason is when we add the bacterial culture inside the concrete, we are adding the calcium nutrient named calcium lactate. Okay.
Yes.
This calcium lactate has the capacity to, means it will affect negatively to the concrete system. Sometimes it will reduce the workability, because this is some people, as in my trials I have conducted. First, initially I have conducted directly. I added during the concreting, means the mixing time. So it was was failure actually. The second time I did, like, yeah, I added the optimum percentage inside the water, and it was mixed well. Before 5 minutes before, I added this material inside the water and mixed well, and then I added during the mixing time, part by part. Then only it was workable. So,
Okay.
so it was maintained with the help of superplasticizer also that time.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Madam, can we do this? Can we limit this work for 28 days instead of 365 days for PhD level?
Sir, actually, I feel no, sir. Because in
Okay.
28 days, the thing is, it depends on the
You
concentration.
know. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Okay.
concentration. Because I already told, when the lower concentration, if we want to get some idea how it is working, I already told you, I have extended my work till up to 550
500. Yeah. Yeah.
550 days I have conducted. So I
Yeah.
know that what was the changes happening. I feel in every testers I have conducted. I have done it in the fibers also, high strength concrete also. The same work I repeated. Conducted all the durability, all the mechanical properties in self-healing related. I did all the things. So I have found out that in the early age strength, sometimes it varies. Sometimes it may higher, sometimes it may lower. But in with that property only we can able to say anything.
Okay.
So I feel we have to conduct it till up to 90 days. I feel so. At least
Okay.
90.
At
Yeah.
least 90 days.
Yes, yes. At least 90 days. Then
Okay,
only
madam.
it will change actually.
Okay, madam.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, madam. Still, I have questions. I'm not interested to disturb others also.
Contact.
I will contact through mail, madam. Thank you.
Yes, 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 definitely.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
If you have any questions, please put that in the chat box or raise your hands to ask. And there's a question in the chat box. Can self-healing concrete reduce post-disaster repair and maintenance needs?
Can self-healing concrete reduce post-disaster repair and maintenance needs? Actually, we know that we already said, like, the chemical aggression, thermal related things. So we can use that as self-healing. I do not know actually, is there any direct application came in India? I feel abroad it is going on. I feel so. But in that case also we can do some means like directly we can't able to do, but we can apply some injection method using the this cultures, means bacterial cultures. We can add inject this bacterial culture for some extent, some days. Then we can do some kind of curing methods. Then only it will heal. I feel we can do that thing, but I do not know more about that thing because I am also new in this section. But in my observation, I feel we can do that thing because already we proved that it can do in the thermally it is viable, and in the case of the sulfate acid and chloride, everywhere it was successful actually. So it is withstanding such kind of harsh environmental condition.
Ma'am, there is another question. How effective is self-healing concrete in marine and coastal disaster-prone environments?
Actually, we can say that some bacteria is marine bacteria are there. We can use that bacteria for culturing that thing. And also another thing, in the application of the self-healing, the main first one is we are using it for the marine structures actually, where the accessibility, human accessibility is less. So in that case, we can use this marine and coastal disaster areas. We can use the self-healing effectively.
One more question is there. What type of cracks can be effectively healed using self-healing concrete?
Actually, I told that there are two type of mechanism, that is autogenous mechanism and autonomous mechanism. So in the case of autogenous self-healing mechanism, the crack less than 0.2 mm is healing effectively. Beyond that, it will not, because I already mentioned in the first slide was the healing was happened by the unreacted cement. During the time of hydration, some unreacted particle will left by the lack of poor water. So whenever it gets water, again, it starts to healing. This unreacted particle starts to heal, starts to work, and they will actively heal up to 0.2. Means below 0.2 mm only it will heal. But beyond that condition, I told in my cases, I found out that 2.17 mm, actually 2.07 mm was my average, but 2.17 mm is also there in my picture. But 2.17 mm is also healed, was also healed up to a length of 15 centimeter. That is not a not a small length. Actually, the bacteria healed that much length. So we can say like a 2.17 mm with a 15 mm length, we can say it will heal. I feel like you got the things. If anyone is interested to do their work in self-healing concrete, they can contact me, no issue. I can give the suggestions, or I can help them. Thank you.
Madam, last simple question, madam.
Yes, sir.
Madam, I came to know that bacterial powder is available in online or in some marts, and also some bacteria liquid is available. Can we use it directly without culturing the bacteria?
Sir, actually one of my junior student, he was purchased this bacteria powder, but
Yeah, madam.
see, that was not much effective actually. But we
Okay.
sometimes we have to make a trial with less quantity. Do not buy more quantity, sir, because it may waste. So we can
Okay.
purchase a lower quantity and can check it for the where that viability and the mechanical strength, everything. First, we have to check the compressive strength and self-healing. Then only
Okay.
be effective.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, madam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.
Ma'am, thank you very much for the insightful and engaging section, and also for patiently addressing all the questions. And thank you all participants for the active interaction. And the next section will start soon. Participants, please stay tuned. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Can I leave?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Hello, am I audible and visible? Hello? Hello?
Yes, ma'am, audible, ma'am.
Okay. Respected dignitaries, esteemed resource persons, respected principal, faculty members, research scholars, and dear participants. A very good evening to all of you. It gives me an immense pleasure to introduce our distinguished resource person for today's session, Mr. Ajisan K. Shaji, an accomplished urban planner and civil engineer with strong academic credentials and rich professional experience in planning and infrastructure development. Mr. Ajisan holds a master's degree in urban planning from GEC Thrissur under APJ Abdul Kalam Technological University, where his thesis focused on the strategic planning of the Wayanad region in concurrence with the HLWG report highlighting sustainable regional development. Then he completed his BTech in Civil Engineering from Karunya University, Coimbatore, securing university first rank and receiving the Best Outgoing Student Award. He is currently working as an urban planner at Urban Tree Planning and Design Studio, and he also served as assistant professor at the School of Architecture, GEC Thrissur. Then his professional experience includes planning internships with the Regional Town and Country Planning Office, Calicut, and site exposure with reputed architectural and construction firms. Mr. Ajison has published and presented papers at national and international conferences on topics related to sustainable regional planning, ecological governance, and structural health monitoring. He has also been actively involved in master planning projects, urban design studios, and professional training programs, including exposure with the Kochi Metro Rail Limited. With his interdisciplinary expertise in urban planning, resilient infrastructure, and sustainable development, we are confident that today's session will be highly insightful and enriching for all participants. Let us warmly welcome Mr. Ajison K. Shaji for his session. Thank you.
Thank you for the wonderful intro, ma'am. Also, I would like to thank everyone for your patience. It's a second section. So I'm going to our session. Is it visible to everyone? The slides are visible?
Yes, sir.
Visible, right? Okay, thank you. So I will directly move to the sessions. So I'm going to cover flood resilience in urban planning. So first I will give a brief about the presentation. First, we will cover what we will check what is flood and its causes and impacts. After that, we will move to urban flood. That means we will learn about what is urban flood and what is the relation between urban flood and urban planning, or how we can incorporate urban flood into the urban planning designs. So after that, we will move to the role of urban planning in urban resilience. After that, we will found planning principles for flood resilient cities. And we will go through land use planning, urban drainage and stormwater, blue-green infrastructure, all those topics today we will cover. And finally, we will move to the solutions in urban resilience for flood resilience, urban flood resilience. And if time permits, we'll move to a case study of a Chennai city. That means for the urban flood management of Chennai city, we will go through a case study. So we are moving to, first of all, we would know about what is water. Everybody knows that the most precious natural resource in the earth is called water, and it is the base of everything. That means it is the basis of our life also. So if the amount of water rises, we will term it as flood. It's defined as, the flood is actually defined as high flow or overflow of water in a long time water course. That means if a water will flow more than in a stipulated quantity, we will call it as flood. The flood may contain mud, trees, building parts, debris, everything will contain. So going to the flood resilience, before we would know about what is the difference between flood resilience and the flood resistance. Both are a different term. Maybe some of you will get confused about the flood resistance and flood resilience. We are going to talk about flood resilience only. The flood resistance means, flood resistance is the use of a structure to prevent the entry of water into the building or an area. That means flood resistance means it is all talking about a structure. But in flood, what is flood resilience means? It is the ability of a communities, infrastructure, and ecosystems to anticipate, resist, absorb, respond to, and recover from the flood events while minimizing the damage and disruptions. So flood resilience means how we can come back from the flood, or how we can resist the flood, or how we can overcome the flood. That means flood resilience. That's the only meaning of the flood resilience. For that flood resilience, we can adopt so many principles, so many methodologies, so many planning interventions and all. That all we'll see. Okay. Now we are going for the causes of flood. There are two kinds of causes are there. Maybe everybody knows these things. Natural causes, it includes heavy rain or prolonged rain. That monsoon may happen. Sometimes even some seasons the rain may be high. The rain intensity may be high. So automatically the natural drains will get overflowed. That may cause a flood and river overflow. This may happen due to the opening of dam or snow, melting of snow. All those things will contribute to the overflow of river and coastal storm surges. It includes the tsunamis, like tsunami and all will come now. That time flood may happen. That includes the coastal storm surges and snow melt. Maybe the temperature rises automatically, snow melt, the water will flow to the downstreams. That may cause flooding. And human-induced causes include urbanization and impervious surfaces. Urbanization means the enlargement of the city. That means it may be in the form of structures, buildings. It may be in the form of people. Anything may. So urbanization will also cause flood, because if urbanization increases, automatically the land cover will reduce. Automatically buildings will come, drainages will come, footpaths will come, roads will come, infrastructures will come. So automatically the land cover may come less. And impervious surfaces, it includes the road, footpaths, everything may be impervious. So automatically the seepage or infiltration may not happen. So automatically it will leads to the flooding. And another one is deforestation. Deforestation, automatically if we cut the trees in the upstreams, automatically the rain may, automatically the soil erosion will happen and the stability of the soil will lose. So if the rain happens, it will come along with the water. So it will cause flooding. Poor drainage systems includes maybe some unplanned cities may have some poor drainage systems. Maybe some cities does not have drainage systems right now. So that will also cause the flooding. Encroachment of floodplains. That means some wetlands and marshy areas, like all those things. Wetlands conversion will happening in mainly wetland conversion will happening in South India. So these all things will lead to the flooding, because in wetlands only the retention of the water will happen. So water will stagnate in the wetlands and it will automatically percolates into the earth. So that this time that is not happening. So that will leads to the flooding. Climate change will also cause flooding. That is also another reason, that maybe sea level rise, extreme rainfall, and all will comes under these points. And now we are moving to the impacts of flood. Impacts of flood may be the loss of lives and livelihoods, damage to the buildings and infrastructure, agricultural losses, contamination of drinking water. This contamination of drinking water leads to the spread of waterborne diseases, and it will collapse the socio-economic situation of the town or in that country or in a region. So if a person loses his houses and his all investments, automatically it will lead to the socio-economic problems. So the flood resilience, we can give 5 principles for the flood resilience. That is, we simply will call it as 3 P's and 2 R's. That includes prevention. First one is prevention. Avoid developments in flooded areas. That means if we are if we are avoiding the developments in the flood prone areas, automatically the damages and effects will be less. And the protection, if we are constructing a building in a flood prone area, that should be structurally safe and it should resist the flood. And next one is preparedness. If flood happens, we have to be planned before. If flood happens, what to do, that thing we have to be planned before. Next, these 3 stages, that means these 3 prevention, protection, and preparedness, these 3 principles will happen before the flood. And the 4th principle, response, that will happen along with the time of flood. That means evacuation and relief. It includes effective evacuation and relief, because for sometimes flood happens, the people and the government or governance system in the town should be responsible for the effective evacuation and relief. It has to be planned before. Next, the 5th principle, that's recovery and adaptation. It includes build back better. First, I have already talked about the definition of the resilience. The same meaning only it will comes here. Recovery and adaptation. This stage will happen after flooding. Next, now we have discussed about the normal properties of the floods. Now we are moving to urban floods. Urban flood is nothing but the flood that's happening in the cities or urban areas is called urban flood. The reasons for the urban flood may be different from the normal flood, and some other additional reasons may occur in urban flood. In nowadays, we know that in India's most of the coastal cities were most of the cities happening urban floods frequently. That's because different reasons comes under this. We will discuss all those things. So in urban planning, flood resilience refers to the capacity of cities to plan, design, govern, and adapt urban systems so that flooding causes minimum damage, ensure continuity of the urban functions, and enables rapid recovery. That means we know that flood will happen. If flood will happen, what we will do? After that flood, how we will come back? That is the meaning of flood resilience in urban planning. So in urban planning, we will plan how the flood, we will plan after the flood, how we will come back to the normal conditions. Normally, the urban flood resilience focuses on three stages. One is city-wide systems. That city-wide systems include land use, transport, and drainage. That is a physical things that will cover all those. Land use will cover the building footprints, vegetation. All those things will come under the land use. I'll tell one example. If a flood-prone city, the development of the flood-prone city should be in a different manner. The growth of the city should be controlled in a different manner. That is this city-wide system. In that, we have to control the land use. That means we have to fix where the commercial buildings should come, where the parks should come, where the agricultural land should come, where the transportation corridors will come, where the drainage systems will come, where the drainage system should discharge. All those things should be planned accordingly. The next one is long-term spatial planning. This long-term spatial planning mainly includes the urban design. Urban design includes how the footpaths should design. That means it comes under a hierarchy basis. In city-wide systems, we will go in a broad area, and in long-term spatial planning, we will come somewhat closer to the town. That means in the urban design model, we will design how the footpaths should design, how the drainage system, how the drainages should design, what is the capacity of the drainage, and where we will give the street lights, where we will give the evacuation points, and all those things will come under the long-term spatial planning. And where the urban corridor should happen, if in an emergency situation like if urban flood happens, where the people should come and where the evacuation should happen, these all things will come under the long-term spatial planning. The third one is risk-sensitive development. That is, the people, those who are living in the city, should aware of that the urban flood or flood may happen. If the flood may happen, what should we do? The people, those who are living in the city, should know these all things. That is risk-sensitive development. That includes the classes. That means people should be awareness classes should be given, and all those things should be go through the social medias. All those things will come under risk-sensitive development. That means the person, those who are willing to live in this city with the knowledge of flood will happen. If flood will happen, he should know what to do or what kind of a decision he should take. Next, we are moving to the urban flooding in planning perspective. Before we saw some causes for the flooding, normal flooding. For urban flooding, the causes may be different. The main causes are rapid urbanization and high build-up density. That means if you are going for high build-up density, about the urbanization we have already discussed. So high build-up density means the quantity of the buildings should be more in towns or in urban areas. So that will give less coverage, more coverage to the buildings and less open spaces in the town. So it will give more. It will leads to the flooding. Conversion of natural drainage channels. That means that includes the wetlands and marshy lands and all. Reduction of wetlands and lakes, also all those things will comes under this point. And impervious surface. If an urban area develops, automatically roads and pavements, rooftop areas will come. That will lead to the flooding. Inadequate stormwater infrastructure. That means that's called blue-green infrastructure. All those things will come under these points. We'll discuss about this later. Inadequate stormwater infrastructure. That means we have to dispose the rainwater at source itself. That's a basic thing of the planning for urban perspective. Next, climate change. That include the rainwater and monsoon and all. Next, we are moving to the role of urban planning in flood resilience. That is, urban planning plays a preventive and regulatory role in flood resilience. That includes guiding land use away from flood-prone zones. That means before going to the planning of a city, we have to know where the floods will happen or where are the flood-prone areas. In that zones, we should not build any construction. Suppose if we are going to do any construction or development in that area, it should be based on the urban resilient design. That includes maybe we can, for example, we can give some parks or agricultural lands in the flood prone areas. We cannot provide any commercial areas or commercial zones in the flood prone areas. That is the main guiding land use main thing. That thing, it should happen during the preparation of the master plan of the city. That time it will comes in force. Next, protecting natural water systems. The natural water systems will help to reduce the flooding and integrating flood risk into master plans. That means we have to found the flood risk areas and flood risk the reasons for the urban flooding. That will specifically for each city having different criteria and different characteristics. According to that city's criteria and characteristics and all, we have to find what is the core element that is lead to the urban flooding in that city. Accordingly, we have to plan the master plans. In that master plan, we should incorporate some regulations and some planning principles and all according to the city. Next, coordinating infrastructure and development. That includes, I have already discussed that the parks should come under coastal area and the commercial zone comes outer the flood prone areas. That is the meaning of this thing, coordinating infrastructure and development. We should plan or we should be aware of where these commercial zones should place or where the agricultural areas should place or where the parks should be placed in according to the condition of the city. In ensuring equitable risk distribution. That means the risk development, if we are going for a development, the risk should be equally distributed in all those areas. Next, we are going for the planning principles for flood resilient cities. First one is risk sensitive land use planning. That is, we have already discussed the same point, only it is coming here. You can see in the image, there is a green area. A coastal or a river is flowing to the downstreams. So we have provided a buffer zone. Suppose if a flood happens, the water may enter into the green space only. It will not affect the infrastructures. So that is the risk sensitive. It is an example for the risk sensitive land use planning. Suppose if we are planning the commercial or building structures near to the river, the damages will be more. So risk sensitive land use planning is a major point in flood resilience planning for the flood resilient cities. Next, integrated water management. It includes how we can control the stormwater and how we can control the runoff and all. Runoff and stormwater should have separate drains and where we should plan where it should be discharged. Next, nature-based blue and green infrastructures. That means blue infrastructures includes the green spaces, agricultural areas, and marshy lands and wetlands and all. And the green infrastructure includes the agricultural land, marshy lands, and wetlands and all. The blue infrastructure includes where the drainages will happen, where the natural lakes, where the stagnant waters will come. These all things should not disturb while we are planning for a city. That is the blue-green infrastructure means. We should keep the agricultural lands as well as we should keep the natural resources like lakes and all as well as, and we should plan accordingly according to the land use. Next, decentralized stormwater management. The stormwater we should dispose the stormwater at the source itself. For that, most of the urban local bodies included some rules in their municipal building rules. That means, as I specified, if we are building more than a specified build-up area, we should provide some stormwater drainage system. That is also a good way to adopt. Next one is adaptive and flexible urban design. The urban designs includes the design of the footpaths and roads and the drainages as well will comes in this points. Next, community participation governance. Another important point while we are going for a planning for resilient cities is community participation and governance. We should be, there is a system needed to correlate the government and the people. Because most of the community, most of the people were not aware of the evacuation process. And most of the government system will not work as they are planned. These all things will come under the governance. There is a separate governance system required for flood resilience. In that governance system should control or coordinate the community, and they should give the awareness to the community, and they should plan, and they should be in a head of control in the flood resilience planning. And while if a flood happens, these community or these governance system should act first. Then only we can go for a proper flood resilience. Next, we are going to detail in land use planning and zoning. Flood resilience zoning strategies. This will come under floodplain zoning. That means we will give more unbuilt areas. That means wetlands and marshy lands and all. Buffer zones along river. We have to provide some buffer zones. That means some green areas near to the rivers, canals and all. And low intensity land use, high risk zones. That means if we are going for a planning an infrastructure near to the flood prone area, that means the most sensitive area, we have to provide some buildings with less risks like park, agriculture, these all things we can give. Next, transfer of development rights. This is a very, very important term. That's the transfer of developments. I will give an example. Suppose if I have a 10 acres land near to the coastal area, I have some 50 acres lands in 20 kilometers away from the coastal area. And in that 50 acres land, I can build up to 50,000 only as per the building rules. But I have 10 acres near to the coastal land also. There also I can develop a 10,000 square feet. So I am not willing to build a 10,000 square feet in the coastal area. I know it is risky. So if I get a transfer of development right, I can use that 10,000 into my 50 acres land. That is transfer of development right. These all things will comes under the jurisdiction of municipality or the municipal urban local body. They have to decide these all things. They say the transfer of development right is a principle that can be adopted while planning for flood resilient city. And density control in vulnerable areas. That is also we can adopt how in the most flood prone areas we can avoid the most crowded kind of designs. That means we can avoid bus transit and railway stations. We can avoid railway stations near to the flood prone areas. We can avoid airports and these all things. For flood planning, flood resilient planning, we will use some tools. In that, flood hazard map is one of the important thing. The preparation of the flood hazard maps includes several stages and it requires large amount of time. It includes while we are going for a case study, last we'll go for a case study. At that time, I will detailedly explain how we will prepare a flood hazard map. GIS based risk assessment. All those things we will found through the case studies. We will found through the previous floods, previous data, previous population, previous land use. and we will found the changes, what is happening day by day or year by year. We will, all those things we will incorporate in a GIS, and we will go for an analysis. Normally, we are going for weighted overlay analysis. There are different types of analysis are available in GIS. Normally, we will go for flood resilient mapping. We will go for weighted overlay analysis. That means weighted overlay means we will found different parameters, and we will found what is the importance of different parameters, and we will give weightage to that different parameters. According to that weightage, the GIS will found the exact location where the flood prone area is. Next, development control regulations. That should comes under the section of our urban local bodies. They should prepare and provide some development control regulations. The master plan, structural development plan, city development plan, these all things will comes under the development control regulations. Although all those things has to be decided by the local self-government or the municipal corporations. Next, urban drainage and stormwater planning. This is just common thing. We can the underground drains may be faster discharge, and it is resilient in retention, detention, infiltration. Retention means they will just store the water itself. Detention means they will partially allow it to percolate the water into the soil. Infiltration means that will allow the water to fully percolate into the soil. The planning strategies in city level may be we can planning strategies, we can go to different steps. That is, one is city level drainage master plan. All the in city level drainage master plan includes all the cities drainage map, road network maps, and land use maps. All those things will come under the city level drainage master plan map. In that, it will include the proposed drainages, existing drainages, and drainages to be demolished or repaired. These all things will come under the city drainage master plan, and where the slope is, and where the natural slope is going, and where we should control the water, and where we should discharge the water. All those things will come under this. Then separation of stormwater and sewage. That is also an important thing. Otherwise, it will cause some waterborne diseases and all. Next, retention of ponds and detention of basins. That will reduce the chance of flood. Decentralized drainage systems. That is also reduce the chance of occurring flood. Design for extreme rainfall events. If extreme rainfalls happen, how we have to tackle the situation. That is the question. That is the point. We can design according to the situation. Blue-green. Next, we are going to the blue-green infrastructure. Already I have given a small brief about the blue-green infrastructures. The blue-green infrastructures will contribute to the flood resilience. The components of the blue-green infrastructures includes urban lakes and ponds, green corridors along the waterways, wetlands and floodplains, parks that double as flooded storage, green roofs and urban forests. While we are using blue-green infrastructures, the benefits are flood mitigation, urban cooling, improved biodiversity, enhanced public spaces. Next, we are moving to the nature-based solutions in urban planning. We have to do the river restoration and renaturalization. So if we have, if a stagnant river is in the city, happened in the stagnation of the river maybe happened in the city, that will lead to the flooding. So we have to repair, and we have to do the river restoration works by a frequent intervals. Wetland conversion and creation. The available wetlands we have to conserve, and another wetlands we have to create for the additional coverage or build-up areas that is happening during the growth of the city. Next, mangrove protection in coastal cities, that will also reduce the impact of the flood. Next, permeable pavements in the streetscapes, that will also allow the water to percolate into the soil. Next, rain gardens and biovessels in the public space. The rain gardens and biovessels means it's just a drainage that will allow the water to naturally percolates into the soil. Another one is build, form and urban design control. we can control the plinth levels. That means I think you maybe know about the FSI coverage and all those things. If we are reduce the plinth level, automatically the coverage will be less. If the coverage is less, automatically the green spaces will be more. So we have to incorporate these minimum plinth levels. That means the high rise incorporating the high rise building. That means enhancing the high or supporting the construction of an high rise building will be good. Next, ground coverage and controls, same thing only. Net setbacks from water bodies, that will comes under the CRZ regulation, coastal zone regulations. We have to keep some minimum distance from the, while going for a building construction, we have to keep a minimum distance from the coastal zone. Next, mixed use zoning for quicker recovery. That means normally while we are planning in a city, we will give some commercial area, we will give some public spaces, we will give some open spaces, we will give some activity areas, we will give some residential areas and all. So while we are going for a flood resilient planning, we have to use mixed use zoning because all those things will comes in a mix. Next, coming to the transport and infrastructure planning, elevated roads in flood-prone areas will lead to the will helps to the less damage of the roads and infrastructures. Flood resilient metro and transit stations. Either the newly constructed metro station should be resistant or resilient about flood. Protection of critical infrastructures, hospitals and power stations. The power stations and hospitals should be protected from the floods. Then redundant and alternative access routes. It also comes under the preparation of the master plan. Next, informal settlements and equity. Normally, informal settlements means normally the slums and all will comes under that. In situ upgradation with the flood safe design. That means in slums and all, we cannot control the growth of a slums. It's not easy to control the growth of the slum. So we have to plan the relocation of the livelihood with some other places. That is also another key point. And affordable housing in safe zones. That means we have to relocate the peoples, those who are living in the slums or the near the coastal zones, to some other place with their livelihood. Next, urban governance and policy frameworks. In these points, the integration of flood resilience in master plan, smart city proposal, climate action plans. In the master plans, we have to plan all those things accordingly, and under the master plan, we have to create a smart city proposals. In that smart city proposals, there should be detailed about the drainage systems and the infrastructure and the development control rights, and all those things will comes under this one. Next, interagency coordination. That means governance only. So the interdepartments should be connected or they have to be coordinated accordingly. Development permissions linked to the flood risk compliance. That means development permits should be given according to the flood-prone areas. That has with more flood, the construction may be restricted in the flood-prone areas. Next, the monitoring and enforcement. This always comes under the governance system. Next, climate change and adaptive planning. Planning for future rainfall scenarios, flexible scenarios, and flexible zoning regulations. Periodic revision of master plans. Scenario-based planning. Coastal city adaptation strategy. While we are going for a flood resilient city planning, these all things will be considered. That means the master plan should be revised in a frequent time period, and it has to be prepared based on the scenario of the city and planning. Maybe the coastal city called Chennai has a different scenario. The Mumbai has another scenario. So it has to be studied and planned. So finally, we can conclude that the urban flood resilience requires a shift from engineering-led flood control to planning-led flood adaptation, integrating land use, infrastructure, ecology, and governance to create safe, inclusive, and climate resilient cities. Now we will move to a case study. We will move to the case study. I'll just show the slide right now. Hope you can see the slides.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in this case study, I will briefly
Sir.
explain.
Hello.
Yes.
Can
Yes.
you change into slideshow?
Now it's ready, na?
Hello.
It's right now. It's okay, na? Is it ready?
Okay, sir. Okay.
Fine. Okay. Now I'm explaining the urban flood management of Chennai city. So in this, we will see how we can prepare a urban resilient master plan or urban resilient city. I will give an example of Chennai city. First, I will explain what is the objectives and methodology, and we will go through the study of flood-prone areas. That means in the flood-prone areas of Chennai, we will study, and history of flooding we will study. Next, intensity of last flood happens. That thing we will study. After that, we will study. We will go through the topography. That means DEM, digital elevation mapping, contour maps, and soil map. These are drainage layout, water bodies within the city, drainage networks, and population distribution, population density, land use. All those things we will study, and we will make an analysis about these all things, and we will go through the analysis. I have already told about the weighted overlay analysis. Now, after that, we will found some proposals.
Hello,
framework.
sir. Hello.
Yes, yes.
Sir, this is not in slideshow. Can you change into slideshow?
Okay, let me try.
Okay.
Now it's ready, yeah?
No,
Hello?
sir. This is not in slideshow.
No, sir. Can you close and open again?
Yes, yes. Now it's in.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we are going to the urban flood management of Chennai city. So I'm going little bit fast. So I will go with I will briefly explain how the study will go and how we will found the proposal frameworks. I'll give a brief idea about how we can plan a city, or how we can plan a city flood resilient, or how we can found the proposal frameworks. Okay. The aim of the project was formulate planning interventions for urban flood management in Chennai city. The objectives of the study includes to study the type of floods, history, and its impact in Chennai city. And next, the second objective was to study in general about urban flooding and its causes, urban flood management, planning, and legal framework for urban flood management. And the third objective is to study in detail the factors that contribute to the urban flooding and analyze it to identify the most flood affected areas in the city. Next, the fourth objective is to study the planning interventions for urban flood management through case studies. Next, for the final objective is to prepare and formulate planning interventions to solve the issues of urban flooding in Chennai city. The methodology goes in 3 stages. First stage is study. Next one is analysis, and the final stage is conclusion. In the study stage, first what we'll do now, we'll study about the general understanding on the Chennai floods. We will study the history of floods that's happened in Chennai city and the type of flood in the city, what types of flood is happening in the city, whether that means the flash floods or regular floods, or what type of flood is happening in the city we will study, and impacts in the city. If the flood happened, what is the impact of the city we will study. Next, we will go to the urban flooding and its flood management planning in city level. So what was the plan the government implemented for the flood management? We will study the plan of the government so that we can find some gaps in that, or we can add more ideas, or we can incorporate more planning perspective to that. So we will study the urban flood management planning in city level to find the gap. Next, we will study the strategies for flood management by the government. So while studying these strategies, we can find what all are the missing data, or what all are the areas we have to take care. We have to take care about the city. Next, we will study detail in factors contributing to the flooding in that city. That means in the Chennai city. So that includes growth, land use, topography, geology, climate, and drainage. These all things will comes under the contributing factors. Next, we will study the flood profile of the city and frequency of the flooding, intensity of the flooding. These all things will comes under the study. So we will map how frequent the floods may happen, what was the intensity of the floods that's happened, so we can predict what was the intensity of the next flood that is going to happen. So accordingly, we can plan the mitigation measures. Next, we will go for some case studies. Like in Chennai city, I have taken Surat as a case study and Mumbai as a case study. So we have to take the cities, those who are showing similarities to the Chennai city. That means we have taken some other coastal cities for the study only. And we will go through the analysis. We will go to the analysis stage. In that analysis stage, we have found some gaps and the problems in the study stage. We'll incorporate that data into the land use and climate change and drainage and gaps in the existing guidelines. We will analyze all those things and we will come to the conclusion. In that conclusion, we will formulate a framework based on the 3 stages, that is preparedness measures, mitigation measures, and response measures. That means we have to formulate strategies for these 3 stages. That is, one is preparedness measures. We have what all are the strategies we have to formulate or we have to adopt before the flood happens. Next, mitigation measures. What all are the measures or planning interventions we have to adopt during the floods. Next, response measures. What all are the measures and things we have to take care after the flood to recover from the existing flood or come back from the flood. These are the 3 stages. We'll go through the slides right now. So in that study, we have found the flooded areas. That means we hope you can see the cursor, right? You can see the cursor?
Yes, sir.
Okay. We have created a flood-prone areas of the Chennai. This is the outer. This is of Chennai Municipal Corporation area. we have taken for the study, Chennai Municipal Corporation area we have taken for the study. In that, the red color was marked as a flooded areas, and the blue color was the water bodies. So these all are the areas were flooded during the last floods. And in the next picture, the history of flood you can see in the yellow color. In 1976, there are the floods may happen in 2 places, and in 1996, the floods flood happened in 3 places, and 1998, the floods happened in 3 places. In 2005, it may happen in 6 places. So we have done a study on last flood that's happened in 2015 also. That will comes in the next stage. So
இதெல்லாம்
in 2015,
பார்க்காது. நீ ஏப்பா இதெல்லாம் பார்த்து நடப்ப.
okay.
இவருக்குள்ள
In the 2015 flood, in this image you can see the intensity of the flood that happened in the Chennai city. That means this is a core area, the flood that happens. You can see in the picture. These all things will be these all maps will be developed using the GIS software while incorporating the data from the socio-economic surveys. That means we have done a preliminary study on the site. We'll go to the site and we will taking the data that has been available in the government departments, and we will check what is the height of the flooding or what is the intensity of the flood, what level the water rises. All those things will be collected, and we will incorporate all those data in a GIS software, and we will come up with this map. This is the most intensive area in the Chennai city. That is, most intensive flood happened in these areas. That means this dark brown. Here the flood happens more. The water level rises more than 5 feet. So we will found all those data, and next we will study what is the urban flooding and its management by the government. We will study the government framework, and we will study the government city level framework. So I'm not going to detail in these all things. I will I will give a brief about how we can plan the flood resilient city. Next, we will do some background study about the topography of the Chennai city and soil condition of the Chennai city, and weather and climate conditions of the Chennai city, and drainage systems of the Chennai city, and growth of the Chennai city. That means where the urbanization happening. We will study the growth. It is an important factor in while planning for the urban resilient cities. And land use change. Land use change means where I will show some. The next slides, the map will come. Okay. Next, we will study about the contour map, where the contour map and the slope map, where the terrain goes, and we will found where the conditions of the soil. Here you can see most of the Chennai cities soil condition was clay. You know, in the clay soil, the water will not percolate into the ground. So that is one of the major reason for the Chennai flood. We have found those things from the background study. Next, we have prepared a map for the existing drainages and waterways of the Chennai city, and we have prepared a map for the existing water bodies. And this drainage network, this was one of the most complicated situation while we are doing the study in Chennai city. Yeah, we are we found very difficult to find where all these stagnation or water drainage blocks, where all this happens. The main reason, one of the main reason for the urban flooding was the blockage of the drainage system. In Chennai city, there are several places the drainage was not connected. I have marked in the map. These all are the areas where the drainages were not linked. Because of that, the stormwater and sewages will come out from the drains. This one was the another one reason for the Chennai flood. And we have studied about the population of the Chennai city. This was a population distribution of the Chennai city. You can see this was the area having most people living in the Chennai city. This was in that previous slide, I think you noticed that this was the area the most affected flood. here only the flood was most affected flood area also, flood area and the most population also in the same place. So that was a key factor identified by our survey. And next you can see in this land use map, this one is 1991 land use map, and this one is 2019's land use map. So you can see the red color, the urbanization or the building footprints was marked in the red color. You can see from 20 years, from the gap of 20 years, how much the buildings or the infrastructure has been developed. So this was a drastic change. This drastic change will also cause flooding. Okay. At last, we have found about the demography detail and drainage details and slope and contour map and geography and soil conditions. These all things we will incorporate in the weighted lay analysis. I'm not going to detail about the detail about what is weighted lay analysis. This weighted lay analysis is a one kind of analysis that is in that is used for the analysis of the urban flood resilience. There are different kinds of analysis was there. In the weighted overlay analysis, we can give weightage to each conditions. Like for one, we can give weightage 10%. For these drainages, we can give weightages of 20%. According to our study and our interpretations, we have to give the weightages. According to the given weightages, the analysis will happen. After our analysis, we have found Adayar and Valancheri was the most sensitive areas, and we have to prepare more frameworks for that areas only. So I'm directly skipping a few slides. And these all are the case studies that have been studied. That means Surat, Mumbai, these all cities was studied for preparing the preparation and formulation of the urban strategies. We have taken Surat and Mumbai as example. And finally, we have come up with an analysis and interface. In that analysis, we have found there are natural factors and man-made factors that leads to the urban flooding. So I'm not going to detail in that. In the proposal frameworks, we have divided into 5 phases. One is preparedness phase and mitigation phase, response phase, relief phase, and restoration phase. Normally in the I hope you have understood these 5 stages. We have already discussed some few stages in back. Okay, in the proposal frameworks, we will find interventions and strategies, and we will provide some. We have to provide some early warning systems. So if a heavy rainfall will happen, we have to give awareness to the people. Heavy rainfall will occur in few days, so you have to be prepared. And unified agency for flood management. This was not in the, this unified agency was not present in Chennai city. So while flood is happening, the government peoples will not know who will handle these things, who will control these things, who will give instructions to the people. These all things will lead to the these all things will lead to the intensity of this, increase the intensity of the flooding. And this will lead to the delay of the restoration phase also. And in the mitigation phase, we have to control the land use, stormwater management, source control options. After that, we have provided some land use planning, coastal zone regulations, decentralized planning, and green infrastructure. These 4 was the proposals. That means land use planning should be proper. That was the one proposal. Next, coastal regulation zone should be redefined. That was another one proposal. These all things and decentralized planning. That was another proposal. And green infrastructure. In these 4 proposals, there are different kinds of proposals and different kinds of ideas will come under these all 4 stages. So in the preparedness measures, and we have identified separate agency for flood management in Chennai city. Flood warning, flood forecasting, these all things should happen in Chennai city. Next, in the mitigation measures, densification of drainage networks, that we have to improve the drainage system, and we have to control the land use because now in the most flood prone area is having the most populated area, that should be decentralized. Then only the impact of the flood, and then only we can control the impact of the flooding. Next, source control options. That means that comes under green infrastructures. Green infrastructures such as building with agriculture parks and open spaces, more open spaces, green parking, wetland should be, the area of the wetland should be more. These all things should incorporate in the zoning regulations and the urban local bodies, master plan and city level development plans. These all are the proposals that we have made. I'm not going in detail with the proposals and the study. I'm just giving given a brief about how we can go to the urban flood resilience study. That's all. That's all what I'm prepared about the slides. Okay. If you have any doubts or any clarifications, if you need, you can ask right now. Hope you people are cleared about all those things, and hope you will get a general idea about what is urban flooding or what all are the things we have to take care about while designing a building or designing a township or designing a city. Hope you have got some few general ideas about all those things. Okay, if you wish to ask any questions, you can ask right now.
So invite the participants to share their questions. So there is a question in chat box.
Okay.
Which urban planning mistake most commonly leads to flooding?
That is because the drainage system is the most common mistake that's happening in our cities. Like in India, most of cities does not have a proper drainage system. In general, we can say the urban design should happen, not urban planning. In the case of cities, the urban design should be proper. So that urban design includes the design of the footpaths, design of the drainages, design of the buildings, design of the drainage networks and all. So most common mistake in our cities is drainage.
So one more question. How can small towns improve flood resilience with limited funds?
We can use decentralized planning in that. So that now the storm, I will give an example. The storm water or the rainwater harvesting system should incorporate in each houses. If a city with a low GDP or each household should have prepared a rainwater harvesting system, or they should control the stormwater that falls in their own plot. So the urban flooding, we can reduce some urban flooding on this.
So another question. How can existing cities be retrofitted to handle floods better?
We can change the land use planning. We cannot do anything on the natural slope or climate or all those things. Now we can change the land use plan of the city. I have explained one term called TDR, transfer of development rights. That's a vast term. That is another key important factor while we are going for a while we are designing in an existing city, we can use TDR. If a person who is having a small plot or large plot near to the coastal zone, he should not lose anything, because if he is spending more money on that coastal area, he will lose. While flood happen, he will lose all those monies. While we are giving TDR to develop that FSI or FSI to some other place of his own place, he will be happy because he is getting benefited. So he will automatically go to the far away places. And also we can do some retrofitting of the drainages. If you are properly maintained drainages, most of the main reason of the urban flooding is lack of drainages. If you are provided with some few amount of drainages or natural flow of the water, the urban flooding, we can reduce the urban flooding with a limited amount of funds. Can engineers and planners work together for flood resilience? Yes, of course. That question should come. The engineers and planners work together, then only we can control we can go for a flood resilient city. In the engineers, the planners and urban designers should make some strategies and planning interventions. That planning intervention engineers should incorporate that planning interventions in the sites. I will give the same example. If in the planning interventions or proposal frameworks, the urban planner will found that stormwater drainage should be and key fact. Every household should require a stormwater drainage system. That is one of the proposal of an urban planner. The engineer who is in charge in the construction of that building, he should ensure that the stormwater drainage system should be implemented in the site. Like that, we can work together. And another one example is that we'll formulate that green infrastructure should be incorporated in the design of the city. So though the engineer in charge in the construction of the building or high-rise building, he should ensure that the minimal plinth level, the coverage of the building should be minimum, so that we can work together. Drainage, how can the drainage system can change? There are different ways we can change, but it was little bit difficult to change the drainage system. The thing is that few of our cities were planned, like Chandigarh, New Delhi. These all cities were called planned cities. In that planned cities, we can see that the proper drainage system according to the slope of the terrain has been designed. In some or other cities, the drainage system was missing, and if the drainage system is happening, the stormwater is not entering into the drainage system. These all things leads to the urban flooding. So for that, we have to start from the root level itself. We have to generate we have to give awareness to the people, and the people should change their infrastructures with resilient to the flood in their house, and they have to incorporate that thing into the streets, and that thing comes to the city level. Like that only we can change. Okay, about the rural floods. Rural floods also cause some impacts in the areas, but if we compare the impacts in urban floods may cause more impact because the concentration of the population density of that area will be more. So in the same process also we can, in the weighted overlay analysis, we can change the weightages of the each parameters. Accordingly, we can analyze the rural flood also. Okay, what do local governments play in flood resilient planning? Local government has to follow the strict instructions given by the National Disaster Management Authority, District Disaster Management Authority. All those authorities will give instructions to the local self-government. They have to follow these instructions.
Sir, one more question. Do you have
Yes.
any experience in this area? If yes, can you explain?
What area is, I didn't get in what area? Urban flood resilience.
Sir, good evening, sir.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello. Yeah.
Sir, nowadays these NH works are going on,
What?
and throughout Kerala, the geographical structure has been changed. So, whether
Ah.
we can expect a flood-free zone in Kerala or any other thing? Because the structure itself is changed. I mean, area, the geographical structure itself has changed.
How the geographical structure was changed? Only the geographical structure how we cannot change the geographical structure right now.
No, I mean the area, the many buildings have collapsed and that changed into
Okay.
the routes. So whether we
Okay.
have followed the these rules and regulation for this building of
We have all those things. Planning formulation may depend upon the current scenario only. Now I have shown the planning for the Chennai city only. If we are going for planning in the some other cities, like if you are going for a Mumbai, we have to study the basic things, like what is happened before the last flood, where all the areas were washed out during the last floods. Like all those things we have to study, and we have to prepare a map based on that. According to that map, we have to give the weightage for the analysis. All those things comes from the analysis only. How we will analyze these all things, or how we will incorporate these all things, according to that only our result and proposals will come. If we are going for flood resilience now, we will give more importance to the weightage. We will give more weightages to the drainage and stormwater and all. So according to the given weightage only, we will get the result. So if we are saying the geography has been changed right now, so if we give more weightage to the geography, we'll get the result accordingly.
Okay, sir.
Okay, urban flood planning. Yes, one of my friend did a thesis on the urban flood management, and while we have together only we have went to the site studies and all for the urban flood planning. So in the urban flood planning, we have to go to different stages. The first and most important stage was the study phase only. So our study phase was correct, the entire result will come correct. If we have missed out or we have lacking in some study areas, suppose for example, if we study about the population, okay, the population may be high in the central area, maybe, but if we are skip the population density, another factor, population density. Hope you know the difference between population and population density. So the population density may be higher in the some other areas. So if we skip the population density, our result will change. So we will found some results, but that will be according to the population only. But the population density plays major role in the major role in the flood resilience, because in the population density is more that indicates that more people are living in those areas. So we have to give more protection to those areas. So all those things depend upon our study stage only. And the urban we can formulate frameworks. That framework should be we can after completing one study, we can formulate different frameworks for different areas. You can see in my last slide, it was shown like for I have made proposal for Valancheri area separately and Adayar area separately, because the condition of these two areas were different. Hope it's clear.
So one more
Yeah.
questions in chat box.
Yeah, in Kerala situations. Okay, in Kerala situations, the scenario was different. Here you can see in the Chennai cities map, the population was growing in a growing to its periphery. But in Kerala, the urbanization was happening in a ribbon manner. So in the scenario of Kerala, the urbanization and developments will happen nearby the roads only, near or side by the roads only. But in the planned cities and some other cities, the growth is happening in a happening to the peri-urban areas. That means the growth is going surround entire circle of the core area. But in the case of Kerala, the development is happening in a ribbon manner. That means the growth is happening in along the roadside only. So the planning situation should be, we have to take some other conditions also, because in the flood prone area, we cannot delineate the flood prone areas. It is not easy to delineate the flood prone areas in the Kerala scenario, but we can demarcate the flood prone areas, but the for strategies and planning interventions that we have going to make is depend upon that only. The development, the growth of the cities, city or the urbanization is happening in a different manner in Kerala. And also in Kerala, in the situation, while we are considering the situation of Kerala, we have only flood happens in few of the cities only. Major flood happens. So, and also the drainage system was poor in Kerala's condition also. And another one best thing is happening in Kerala. The government is somewhat responsive than other cities. So the drainage works and all is happening right now. Any other questions?
So thank you for the wonderful session, sir. I would like to express our sincere gratitude to our esteemed Chief Guest, Mr. Ajisan K. Shaji, for graciously accepting our invitation and sparing the valuable time to be with us today. Your presence truly added value and inspiration to this program. Thank you once again to the management, organizing committee, and participants for their support and active participation. With this, I conclude the vote of thanks. Thank you.
Okay, then shall I leave?
Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you everyone.